questions using the PowerPoint. And does everyone have a Post-it note? Does everyone have a Post-it note on their desk?
Yes.
And a pen to write with?
Yes.
Okay. So before we get started, I'm going to direct your attention to the PowerPoint. And one of our clues about our animals is that they are talkers of the ocean. And I don't want anyone to call out what they think it is. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and I want you to quietly write down your guess on the Post-it note. Okay? Does everybody understand?
Uh-huh.
So no calling out. Make sure that you answer what you think it is on your Post-it note quietly, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So talkers of the ocean. What animal weighs more than 25 elephants and has a tongue big enough for 50 people to stand on? Now don't answer, okay? What animal can hold its breath for 2 hours, and what animal looks like a fish but isn't? Now answer quietly on your Post-it note, okay? And I want you to hold your Post-it note up when you're ready, okay? All right. Give everybody a minute. Think about what they think it might be. Okay, I see some good guesses. I see some right answers. All right, is everybody ready to find out what animal we're going to be learning about today?
Yes.
The answer is whale. We are going to be learning about whales.
Yay.
And the whale in this picture is the blue whale. And it is the biggest animal that ever lived on Earth. It is bigger than the biggest dinosaur that ever lived.
Wow.
And we're going to learn a little bit more about blue whales and some other whales later on in our lesson. So yesterday, remember, we finished our unit on fish in the ocean. And tomorrow, we're going to learn about a whale's habitat and construct an ocean diorama of their habitat. Miss Amanda lost her place for a moment. Let's see. Goodness. Okay. Sometimes that happens. We all make mistakes. Okay. So, one of the reasons it's really cool to learn about whales is that they are mammals like we are. That means that they're warm-blooded, they have a heart, they breathe using their lungs, they have a brain, they have a 4-chambered heart, and we're going to learn some more about mammals later on when we read the book. But first, I want to show you a video on whales communicating. And did you know that whales communicate with one another and their families the way we communicate with each other? That they have a language, a special language, all their own. And we're going to see some examples of that in this video. And we're going to talk about it after it's over, okay? All right. Okay. Now, I want everyone to listen carefully as well as watch the information, okay? Because later on, we're going to write a story called If I Were a Whale.
Wow.
And draw a picture.
Cool.
So about if you were a whale, okay? All right, so let's watch the video. Okay. All right. Now, I wanted to point out some really cool things that I saw in the video. One is the humpback whale communicates through singing. Can anybody remember the longest song recorded of a humpback whale singing? 22 hours. 22 hours a humpback whale sang without stopping. And then the killer whale, they usually live in large group or pods, which is one of our words on our word wall. They're families, and they actually can recognize one another with their voices. The way we recognize one another when we're close to one another. If I call you on the phone and you know me well, I say, guess who this is? And you know me by my voice. You know it's me. You know it's Amanda Gray. Well, they know each other by their accents. And another cool thing that they talked about was dolphins communicate emotion. They communicate joy, anger, and friendship. Can anyone tell me a way that we communicate joy or friendship?
Shaking hands.
Shaking hands. And giving a high five. We communicate joy, jumping up. And, the dolphins leap out of the air, what's called breaching, when they leap up out of the air. And they also communicate that they love each other and like each other with their touch and with their voices. They even communicate anger with what's kind of similar to a bark. So anybody have any questions or comments about the whale video? Yes?
Do dolphins kiss each other like humans?
Well, I believe that that is a good question. I don't know if they kiss in the same way that we do, but I know that they touch one another and love on one another through touch.
Maybe they rub noses.
Yeah, maybe that's right. Let's research that later. That is a great question. Maybe they rub noses also to show affection. They rub their little noses together. So next, we're going to complete as a class a KWL chart. Does everyone have a KWL chart on their desk?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Diane, I need you to come up here. I need you to come help me with the KWL. All right. And so we're going to do it on the board, and I want you to also follow along on your paper. Okay. So what do we know about whales? What do we know?
They're really big.
They're big. What else do we know?
They swim in the ocean.
They swim in the ocean. Okay. What do you want to know about whales? What is something you want to know?
What do they eat?
What do they eat? Okay. What's something else?
How do they stay underwater so long?
How do they stay underwater so long? Okay. And after we complete our lesson, we're going to come back and we're going to complete what we learned about whales. Okay? So right now, I would like everyone to gather over on the ocean carpet, the ocean tablecloth, okay? We're going to pretend like we're in an ocean, and I'm going to read you a story. Well, information book about whales, okay? Whales by Leslie A. DuTemple. Whales live in water, but they are not fish. Whales are mammals. Cats, dogs, and people are mammals too. Mammals are animals who are born alive and drink their mother's milk. Most fish hatch from eggs. Then right away they eat whatever they find in the water. Miss Amanda made a mistake. I didn't go over our word wall before we got started. Okay, first we're going to go over our word wall, and we have some pictures. The clue is what it means, what these words mean. Can you repeat after me? Baleen.
Baleen.
Can anybody give a guess of what that might mean?
I don't know.
Okay, baleen is hair-like structures that come out of the whale's mouth. Not all whales have teeth. They have what's called baleen. And we're going to see a picture up close in our book later on. Fluke. Based on the picture, what do you think that could be?
A tail.
A tail. A fluke is a tail.
A whale tail.
A whale tail. And it's their individual fingerprint, like we have fingerprints. All whale tails are different. Breaching. Breaching is when they leap up out of the water. And all whales do that. They all breach. They all leap up out of the water. Here the killer whale is leaping backwards out of the water. Blowhole. Give you a clue. Nostrils. It's the nostrils because whales have to breathe air. These nostrils open up and expel air and water out of what's called their spout. Now, out of what's called a spout. Excuse me. It's called a spout.
Where are their nostrils?
Their nostrils are on top of their head. And they are closed when they are underwater. Most whales have to come up every 2 hours or so to breathe. This is called blubber, which is the layer of fat that keeps the whales warm in the water because they are warm-blooded. Now this is our reading center, and it's got pictures of all different kinds of whales, and it's got information about whale anatomy that we can look at later on in the week, and different books that you can look at during our individual reading time. I'm going to put this down. We're going to go over the warm-blooded. So anything that's an endotherm is also a mammal. Dolphins, puppies, cats, seals are both endotherms and mammals. And an ectotherm is a cold-blooded animal. A cold-blooded animal, which is an example is a fish or a turtle. And plankton is something that some whales eat. It's tiny little something, I need to look that up, in the ocean that whales eat. Echolocation is something that different whales use to know where an object is in water. An example is a dolphin makes a clicking sound, which travels through the water. See, it bounces off the fish and travels back to the dolphin's ear, and the dolphin knows how far away the fish is. Okay, so we've gone over all of our words on our word wall, and we're going to get back to our book. Okay? Fish are ectotherms or cold-blooded. Their temperature inside their body changes with the temperature of their surroundings. If the water they live in is cold, their body temperature is cold. Mammals are endotherms, or warm-blooded. That means their body temperature does not change much. People are endotherms too. Your body temperature is the same in winter and in summer. And whales have something called blubber. Remember, blubber is a thick layer of fat. And blubber helps whales stay warm even in the cold water. Whales have to come to the surface to breathe or they'll drown. Whales breathe through their blowholes or nostrils on top of their heads. When whales swim to the surface, their blowholes open to let air in. When whales are ready to dive underwater, their blowholes close so that no water gets in their lungs. See the blowhole on top of his head? We divide all whales into two main groups. One is the toothed whale and the other is the baleen whale. Toothed whales are predators or hunters. They have teeth to help them catch fish and squid. Dolphins and killer whales are a type of toothed whale. Right here we see a killer whale. Baleen whales are giants, but they are gentle giants. Instead of teeth, they have plates of baleen. You see right here, the baleen? The baleen looks like giant furry combs, and they hang from the whale's upper jaw. The baleen plates are made of keratin. Did you know our hair and nails are made of keratin too? Baleen whales eat plankton. Plankton are tiny plants and animals that float in the water. When a baleen whale opens its mouth to catch plankton, it also takes in lots of water. The whale uses its tongue to push the water out of its mouth. Plankton are trapped in the baleen, then swallowed. The largest animal on Earth, the blue whale, is a species of baleen. Whales live and travel in family groups called pods. Pods can have a few members or hundreds of members. Pod members communicate or talk, and they help each other just as human family members do. Whales communicate by clicks, squeals, moans, and barks. They talk all the time. Some whales can see very well, but they use their ears more than they use their eyes. A whale makes a sound. The sound hits an object and bounces back to the whale. The sound that bounces back is called an echo. You see right here is an example of echolocation. A whale makes a sound which bounces off the boat. The echo tells the whale how close it is to the boat. That is known as echolocation. Whales use echolocation to find out what's around them, to find out how deep the water is, how close the nearest whale is, or how big a boat is. They even use echolocation to find their food. Whales do something called breaching. When a whale breaches, it leaps up out of the water, then comes down with a huge splash. Nobody knows for sure why whales breach. Maybe whales breach to knock creatures off their skin, or maybe breaching is just fun. Excuse me, trying to find my way through. Okay. One discovery that scientists have made is that a fluke, or the tail of a whale, has its own special pattern, just like our fingerprints. Scientists can tell which whale is which by looking at their flukes. The next time you think about the ocean, think about the mighty whales swimming, diving, and breaching. Deep in the ocean are whale families who talk, sing, and help each other and their neighbors. They breathe air and take care of their young, and they are not that much different from you and our family. Okay, does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. Okay, really quickly, we're going to talk about these whale models I have. This is a model of the blue whale, and it's a type of baleen. They do not have teeth. They have what's called baleen, the hair-like structures that are in their upper jaw, and they have 2 blowholes. See? 2 blowholes. And the humpback whale is also a type of baleen whale, and it also has 2 blowholes. I want you to see these are a type of baleen, and you can start passing those around, okay? All right. And the killer whale and the dolphin are a type of toothed whale, and they have teeth, and they only have 1 blowhole. So the toothed whales have 1 blowhole. The baleen whales have how many? 2 blowholes.
2 blowholes.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions about what we've talked about so far? No? Okay. All right. Now I want you to move to your desk, and we are going to do a fun exercise. And I'm going to let everyone get to their desk. And Diane, you come up here for a second. I'd like you to help me pass out these papers. And as soon as she's done passing them out, I'm going to explain to you what we're going to do. Okay? All right. So you have a sheet that says, "If I were a whale." And you also have the vocabulary words. I would like you individually to write a creative story with the title, "If I Were a Whale," using at least 3 or 4 of the vocabulary words. And also, I want you to draw a picture of the ocean, of the whale, and use your imagination. And then I want you to make sure to write your name so I know who it's by. Any questions?
This will be fun.
Yeah, this is exciting. I can't wait to see what everyone comes up with. Okay, I'll give everybody a minute to do that. Okay, and I'll just walk around, raise your hand, let me know if you need any help. Okay, I'll be happy to help. Okay, class, we don't have time to complete all of this, so tomorrow we're gonna work on it first thing. So we want to complete our KWL chart for the day. Okay?
Okay.
So we're going to talk about what we learned today. What we learned. What is something you learned today about whales?
When whales swim together, they swim in pods.
Yes, whales swim in pods. They're like families. That's right. Okay, what is something else you learned about whales today?
Whales have a lot of blubber on them.
They do. That is good. They do have a lot of blubber on them. And do you remember why?
Because it keeps them warm in the cold water.
That's right. Good. I like the way you're thinking. You are such a smart class. Okay. Now it's time to wrap up. And I want each of you, we're going to do a little oral true-false quiz, okay? Using our little true-false signs, okay? So the first question is it true or is it false? Blue whales are the smallest whale in the ocean.
False.
False, that's right. Blue whales are the biggest animal. Not only the biggest animal in the ocean, but the biggest animal that ever lived. Toothed whales have 2 blowholes.
False.
False. Toothed whales have 1 blowhole. And baleen whales have
2 blowholes.
Okay, I'm trying to think of another question. An endotherm means that you are cold-blooded.
False.
That's right. An endotherm means you are warm-blooded. An ectotherm means you are cold-blooded, like a fish or a turtle. All right, and everybody did so good today. You were so attentive, and I really appreciate everyone's interaction and respect for one another. And we're going to pass out some goldfish as a treat for doing so well today. The end.
Okay. That was 21 minutes, 45 seconds. So if you add the video, the actual video time, and the time that they do this, I think you'll have right at 30.